Hello guys, this is the M Developer and welcome to the first part of this CSS tutorial. In this tutorial I want to have an index at the beginning of each video because well in CSS there is just so much to cover that I really couldn't fit everything we will learn in a single image. So instead of that, at the beginning of each video I will tell you what we are covering in that video, and that will also be in the title. So we will keep to what I said in my pilot video with incremental learning. We will start with very basic things in CSS, and in each video as we go into the tutorial, the CSS will develop to be harder and harder and well better to do better things. In this tutorial, I will also try to make shorter videos, and well, in general, I hope I'm getting better to you guys and that I can explain all the things better to you. So in this tutorial, we will cover basic CSS, we'll cover the attribute colors and the background colors. And well, yeah, that will be it for this video. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into it. So let us start by creating our project. Here in my VS Code window, you can see that I still have my HTML5 project done in the previous tutorial. So now we can open the folder where we have our projects, and now I'll create a new folder for the CSS project. Here I can create an index HTML file, like so. And now I can come here, open index, and here we are. We can already see our page. You can here close this, and you have a fine shortcut to have a template of a HTML file. Here in the title, we can already put, for example, CSS tutorial, and if we reload it, we can already see that it is working. So let's give it a few tags. For example, let's start with the header, where usually we have our title. So I'll give it the title of the page, CSS tutorial. Here we can, for example, add an h3 saying this is my second tutorial. Now we can create the main tag, and here we can, for example, have a section, and outside the section can have an h1 tag, title, an h3 tag. This is a subtitle, just common things that we learned previously in the HTML5 tutorial. Now let's just add some text, like so. And now we can copy all this and put inside the section. This is just to explain you how CSS selectors work and how they select every other element. So for now, this will do. Now, as I said previously, in the HTML tutorial, you can add all the CSS of your page inside these tags, the style tags. Here you can just put everything you want, and it will work even if it is on a separate document. But because things are better organized in another file, we will create another file. So let's come here in the CSS folder and create, for example, a style.css CSS file where we will write all our CSS code. But before that, we need to say to the HTML file to go get the style from our CSS file. And to do that, I also told in the previous tutorial that you should do something like this with the rel style sheet with a type, the type being text slash CSS, and here in href you just say where the file is, and we can reload it here, see our page, and we are ready to start. So the basic code for that you need to learn in CSS is this: that you select a lot of elements inside the HTML file. So the first thing you have here is the selector. Then I will tell you how the selector works in a few. Just wait. And here inside the braces you have a lot of declarations that will give the style of the element that will give style to the element that you selected in the selectors in the selector. And another basic thing in HTML is this. This is just a simple comment. It's done like it is in a lot of other languages. And that's about it. Well, there are lots of ways to select a HTML tag inside an HTML file in a CSS file. So the first and the most obvious way to do it is just by selecting the name of the tag. So for example, if I want to change something in the H1 titles, I can come here to the selector, write H1, and here in the declarations I can really change everything about this element, but for now let's just change the color, and here I can say, for example, blue. And now if I reload it, there it is. All the H1 tags are now with the color of blue, like so. Now let's see another thing, and that is if I do the same selector again without changing anything inside the selector but changing the declaration, for example the color here can be green, what color do you think the H1 will have now? Well, if we reload it, you will easily understand that the CSS file is rendered in order. So it first renders this one, but after renders this one. And because they are not different at all, the selectors, the file will just assume that the one you want is the last selector you have. So yeah, because it is rendered in order, the last one to be rendered will be the one that appears on the page. Yeah, that's it. So let's now have another thing that is that if you change the selector, for example, here we can see that our H1 tag of the main title is inside the header tag. So here, if we write the header tag and then H1, meaning that it will select all the H1's tags inside the header tag. Now, if we reload it, it will be different because this selector has more specificity than this selector. So this will be rendered for the specific tags that it is specifying, but the ones more general will only affect the tags that aren't as specific as this one, and that don't already have another selector selecting them. And well, that's it for the selectors for now, and we will talk more about the selectors, I think, in the second video. So let's keep on going and let me tell you more about the color. So for example, let's select our first title and change the color again. But now let me tell you about the color attribute. As you can see here, there are a lot of standard names for colors, and all these colors are listed in the w3schools.com site. If you can, I leave a link in the description, and if you want to learn all of these standard colors, you can go there and check them all. Check them all and see if you like or don't or not. And there is another way to select colors, and that is through an hexadecimal code. For example, here, let me think RGB. So let's say I want the first title to be red. I can give it an FF0000 and it will be red. If I reload it, there the first title is in red. Well, hexadecimal is kind of easy to learn. Basically, the letters are paired here, and these first two are for red. These second two are for green, and the last two are for blue. Just like in RGB, that's what we'll be doing now. RGB, red, green, and blue. And here, instead of using the hexadecimal code, you can just use proper values. For example, if you want that title to be blue, I can say here 0 on red, 0 on green, and here give the maximum value. That will be this number. And now it is blue. You can learn more about this in the links I'll leave in the description, where you can just learn how to select any color that exists in these codes in however you want and however it works for you. That is in the w3schools.com website, and well, you can visit it later. So now let's keep on going, and let's select another tag. We can, for example, select our section tag, open the braces, and now we'll talk about another attribute, and that will be the background color. It works the same way as color. You can use RGB or hexadecimal code, or even the standard names for colors. And yeah, with that, with this attribute, we will be changing the background of the element we selected in the selection, the selector. So let's, for example, give it a color of aqua, and here in our section, this section, the background will be in this color. But now let me have this in white. So it's the standard color, you won't see no difference. But now here, let's select the body tag and give it a background color of, for example, beige. We can reload the page and you'll see that everything is beige, but not the section that we selected previously and gave it the color of white. If you don't give anything, it will have the standard value, and that value is transparent, like so. So yeah, that's how it works, and this is one of the few values you can give to background color that is not actually a color, and in fact is transparent. So, this will be it for our first video. I hope you understood everything alright. And well, if I helped you and you understood everything, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.